Dallas Jenkins is doing more than telling Bible stories. He's creating a connected universe of biblical dramas that could change the way the world views scripture on screen. And the first major step in this vision, Joseph of Egypt, officially announced as the next project after The Chosen, this new series isn't just a side project, it's a cornerstone. And for the first time, it's being backed by a major studio partnership. 5 and 2 Studios, founded by Dallas Jenkins himself, has joined hands with Amazon MGM Studios. That means global reach, bigger budgets, and a level of production quality. We've only dreamed of 4 biblical stories. But here's the twist. Dallas says this series and his entire Bible-based universe isn't just for Christians. He believes deeply in the power of storytelling, and he knows that good stories reach beyond religion. Joseph of Egypt is meant to be human, raw, emotional, and powerful. And if you think it's going to be like the old Bible epics, think again. Jenkins wants none of the stiff, statue-like characters we've seen in older films. He's focused on something much deeper. He wants the audience to feel Joseph's betrayal, to see the fear in his eyes as his brothers throw him into a pit, to taste the dust of the Egyptian road, and to believe not just in the message but in the man. That's what makes this project so unique. It's not a sermon, it's a story. And Dallas Jenkins knows exactly how to tell it. But there's a catch. Dallas himself won't be directing this series. He's too committed to finishing The Chosen. Its final 2 seasons are still ahead. But he's not stepping away. He's still on board as executive producer, overseeing the vision. And the man taking the reins as showrunner is someone who knows how to craft drama with soul, Craig, right? Now, that name might not ring a bell at first, but his work speaks for itself. He's the creator of Greenleaf, the gritty, emotional drama set inside a southern Mecca church. He's written for 6 Feet Under, Lost, Tyrant, and more. He knows how to create stories filled with tension, betrayal, faith, and transformation. And with Joseph, he has one of the richest stories ever told. A young dreamer, sold by his brothers, falsely accused, thrown into prison, and then rising to power through wisdom, patience, and divine favor. But in this series, the focus won't just be on the miracles. It'll be on the man, Joseph, his heartbreak, his questions, his strength. And when his past comes knocking, when his brothers stand before him once again, what will he choose, revenge or mercy? This is the question that Dallas Jenkins wants the world to ask. Because Joseph's story isn't just ancient, it's universal. And now, it's being told like never before. Everyone thinks they know the story of Joseph, a boy with a gift, a coat of many colors, and dreams that made his brothers jealous. But in this series, the story is not about the coat. It's about the cost. The emotional cost of being chosen. The devastating weight of being misunderstood. Joseph's journey isn't just about surviving betrayal, it's about being broken and still rising. Dallas Jenkins and Craig Wright are digging deep into this ancient narrative and pulling out the raw, human truth beneath the surface. This won't be the polished version told in Sunday school. This is Joseph stripped bare. The arrogant glint in his eye as a favored son. The shock and terror as his own blood throws him into darkness. The ache of slavery, the silence of the prison cell, and the impossible choice to forgive the very people who destroyed him. But this version of Joseph's story is going to go beyond what we've seen before. The series will show us the cracks in the Pharaoh's palace, the political dangers of Egypt, and the fragile thread of survival Joseph walks each day. He's not just interpreting dreams. He's navigating a world built on power and deception. And even though we know how the story ends, this series will make us feel like we don't. Because that's the magic Jenkins is aiming for, making a well-known tale feel like it's happening for the first time. The show will be a limited series, only 1 season, 8 episodes. But those 8 episodes are designed to hit hard. Every episode will peel back another layer of Joseph's transformation from dreamer to slave, from prisoner to ruler, from victim to redeemer. And behind every step is the question, why does God allow pain? Why do people who are chosen suffer? Jenkins has already explored these themes through Jesus in The Chosen. But now, we see it through the lens of a man who had every reason to hate and chose grace. And here's something Dallas made very clear. This series will not sanitize the story. Joseph of Egypt will deal with harsh realities. The emotional weight of favoritism in a family. The cruelty of betrayal. The complexity of power. And the tension of confronting the people who once sold you like cattle. It's not just about Joseph forgiving. It's about how he gets to the point where forgiveness is even possible. And that's where the emotional core of the show will be. For Joseph, every victory is haunted by a memory. Every success reminds him of what he lost. And when the famine finally brings his brothers to Egypt, and they don't recognize the powerful man standing before them, that moment will carry a thunderous silence, because revenge would be easy. But redemption, that's where the real story begins. And Dallas Jenkins knows how to make that story echo through every scene. He's not preaching. He's asking us to sit with the same questions Joseph faced. To wonder, what would I do if the people who ruined my life came crawling back? This is why Joseph of Egypt isn't just another project. It's a character study, a spiritual confrontation. And it's the first in a new wave of Bible-based stories that are designed not to push faith but to pull emotion. And once people see this trailer, they'll understand that this universe Dallas is building is something entirely new. Asterisk Joseph of Egypt is not a one-off. It's the first thread in a much bigger tapestry Bible cinematic universe that Dallas Jenkins is quietly and carefully crafting behind the scenes. And he's not calling it faith-based for a reason. He wants it to stand on the same shelf as the best dramas on television because these stories aren't just sacred, they're powerful. Joseph is just the beginning. Other projects already announced include The Chosen Adventures, a children's show where kids meet Jesus in their own time. Then there's The Book of Moses, a larger-than-life epic about a reluctant prophet who defies the world's greatest empire. And The Way, a series focused on the Acts of the Apostles, tracing the birth of the early church. But these aren't disconnected projects. They're part of a shared world anchored in real human emotion, shared struggles, and stories that speak across generations. And Joseph of Egypt sets the tone. This series is where Dallas proves that biblical characters can be as complex, flawed, and unforgettable as any modern anti-hero on TV. That these ancient people bled, broke, questioned, and hoped just like us. And the reason Joseph is going first, it's because his journey is the perfect introduction to the themes Dallas wants to explore in the Bible universe: betrayal, identity, leadership, forgiveness, survival. Joseph's rise to power in Egypt is a blueprint for what Jenkins wants to achieve, telling stories of faith without turning them into sermons. He knows his audience is bigger than just believers. He knows there are viewers out there, millions of them who don't go to church, but love a good story. Viewers who cried during The Chosen, even if they don't call themselves Christian. People who want something meaningful but honest. That's who this Bible universe is for. And Dallas is intentionally shaping it to reflect that. He's not watering anything down. He's raising the bar. That's why he's collaborating with platforms like Amazon MGM Studios, because he wants the reach and resources to do justice to these massive, emotional, world-shaking stories. And he's surrounding himself with creators who understand how to build layered characters, not just historical figures. People like Craig, right? Who bring a dark, emotional depth to religious storytelling. Joseph of Egypt will set a tone, one of excellence, authenticity, and intimacy. And once that tone is set, the next wave will come. The burning bush, the plagues, the wilderness, the apostles scattering across the empire. But it starts with Joseph. It starts with a dreamer who is broken, enslaved, imprisoned, and forgotten. A man who rose anyway, who forgave anyway, who saved the very people who destroyed him. And as this new Bible universe unfolds, it won't feel like a collection of stories. It will feel like a legacy. Each series will connect emotionally, and even new. Dallas Jenkins isn't just adapting scripture. He's reimagining how the world engages with it. And when that first Joseph of Egypt trailer drops, we won't just be watching a teaser for one show. We'll be witnessing the beginning of something much bigger, something that might just change the way biblical stories are told forever. One of the biggest questions surrounding Joseph of Egypt right now is simple but thrilling. Who will play him? And the answer? Still tightly under wraps. No official casting has been confirmed, no clues, no leaks. And that's exactly how Dallas Jenkins wants it. He knows that the right actor can make or break a story like this, not because they need to be famous, but because they need to feel real. Joseph isn't a superhero. He's not invincible. He's a young man shaped by trauma, loss, isolation, and ultimately, divine purpose. That means the role requires someone who can carry emotional weight without saying a word. Someone who can stand before Pharaoh with confidence, but still flinch at the memory of his brother's betrayal. And while fans have thrown out names Isaac, Elijah, Alexander, Giovanni, Cairo, there's a good chance Dallas will go with someone totally unknown. He's done it before. The Chosen proved that you don't need A-list actors to tell a story that reaches millions. What you need is authenticity. And right now, casting is being handled quietly, with precision, behind the scenes. And it's not just Joseph, every character matters. Potiphar, the Egyptian official who first purchases Joseph, his wife, who falsely accuses him, the cupbearer and the baker in prison, Pharaoh himself, and, most importantly, the brothers, the ones who start this story with jealousy and end it with trembling remorse. These aren't side roles. They're all pieces in a puzzle that must fit perfectly. Because when the emotions hit, when Joseph sees his brothers again, after all those years, everything hinges on whether we believe it. And Dallas Jenkins is not someone who settles. He's a builder, a risk taker, he's creating something so specific, so layered, that every choice must align with the vision. That's why he handed the writing and creative leadership of Joseph of Egypt to Craig Wright. Bold move. Wright's work is darker, more adult, and unapologetically emotional. It's a clear sign that this series will not be a glossy, cleaned-up version of the story. It will be gritty, intimate, and confronting. The betrayal won't be softened. The prison won't be comfortable. The forgiveness won't be easy. And Joseph won't be perfect. He'll wrestle with his own anger, his own pride, his own pain. And by the time the brothers come to Egypt seeking grain, Joseph will be a stranger to them, but not to us. We will have walked the entire road with him. We will have sat in the silence of the pit and in the shadows of Pharaoh's court. And when he finally reveals who he is, when he says, "I am Joseph," it won't just be a plot twist. It will be a gut punch. A moment that demands our full attention, our empathy, our tears. That's the kind of storytelling Dallas Jenkins is aiming for. Not surface level, not safe, but real. And the mystery around casting is part of the excitement. Because whoever steps into Joseph's sandals must carry generations of heartbreak, hope, and healing. And once that face is revealed, once the trailer drops, it will change the way people talk about this project. It will no longer be an idea. It will be a reality. And that reality will spark something new in the world of faith-driven storytelling. Something bold, something beautiful, something unforgettable. Asterisk, the wait has officially begun. Joseph of Egypt. There's no longer a rumor or a quiet project hidden behind the scenes that's happening. The trailer is coming, and the story is already in motion. But when exactly will we see it? That's the question every Chosen fan and biblical drama enthusiast is asking. And thankfully, we've got a few clues. Last year, Dallas Jenkins hinted that Joseph of Egypt would be released before the 7th and final season of The Chosen. And that's huge. Because we already know that The Chosen Season 7 will begin with its first 2 episodes premiering in theaters in March 2028. That gives us a window. If production begins as expected, Joseph of Egypt could easily land in late 2026 or early 2027. But here's where things get even more exciting. There's a major event planned for February 2026, the Chosen Con, the fan convention dedicated to all things related to the series and Dallas Jenkins' broader projects. That event is the perfect place to debut a teaser trailer. It's early, enough to generate buzz, and by then, filming may already be underway or even completed. That means exclusive behind-the-scenes footage, cast reveals, and maybe even a surprise teaser could be waiting just months away. Imagine being in a room filled with fans of The Chosen, and suddenly, the lights dim, and the screen shows the sands of Egypt. A shadowy figure walking toward the camera. A voiceover. "They sold me. They forgot me, but God did not." And then, the reveal. Joseph of Egypt coming soon. That kind of moment would light up the internet, especially among viewers who have followed Dallas Jenkins from the beginning. But don't expect the promotion to stop there. Once the teaser drops, the rollout will begin: character posters, cast interviews, production diaries, and updates from both Amazon, MGM, and 5 and 2 Studios. This is not a small project tucked away for niche audiences. It's backed by a global platform and driven by a creator with one of the most loyal fan bases in the world. And once people see the first footage, it will be clear that this series is not just another biblical retelling. It's cinematic. It's emotional. It's bold. And for those who followed The Chosen, it will feel like a natural extension of the same spirit, deeply human, profoundly spiritual, and always centered around real people facing impossible choices. The pressure is enormous, but Dallas Jenkins has already shown the world that he thrives under pressure. When The Chosen launched as a crowd-funded experiment, nobody expected it to become a global phenomenon. But it did. And now, with major studio backing and years of storytelling experience behind him, he's stepping onto an even bigger stage. Joseph of Egypt has all the ingredients to be something special. A world-class writer, a story filled with betrayal, redemption, and destiny. A production team that knows how to blend faith and film, and an audience that's hungry for more. More than sermons, more than lessons. Stories that stay with them long after the credits roll. But what comes next? That's where things get even more thrilling. Once Joseph of Egypt is released, all eyes will turn to the Book of Moses, a project that promises to explore the origin story of one of the most powerful figures in all of Scripture. And then the way, chronicling the explosive early years of the Christian movement after Jesus. These are not isolated stories. They are part of a roadmap, a larger vision for a Bible cinematic universe that grows with each project. And if Joseph of Egypt succeeds, it opens the door for even more characters to step into the light. Maybe David, maybe Esther, maybe Ruth. The possibilities are endless, but it all starts here, with a dreamer, with a betrayal, with a rise that defies all odds. Dallas Jenkins has never been interested in playing it safe, and Joseph of Egypt is proof of that. It's ambitious, it's risky, but it's also deeply needed. Because in a world overwhelmed by noise and empty content, stories like Joseph's remind us of something greater. That pain can be redeemed. That purpose can rise from ruin. And that forgiveness is the most powerful act of all. So when the trailer drops, whether it's this year or next, watch closely. This isn't just the beginning of a series. It's the launch of a movement. One that takes the ancient and makes it new. One that bridges faith and storytelling in a way we've never seen before. The countdown has begun. Once Joseph of Egypt arrives, nothing will ever be the same again.